Hey, so it's come around already that we're going through the super investors for the Q4 portfolios of 2022. So let's go see what new ideas we have. And I think that's the reason why I really like going through these each quarter is it's just a great place for idea generation. I'm getting to see what the best investors in the world are putting their money to work in. Maybe there's something for us to look at as well. And I just think this is a great place to go digging. So let's go digging. Okay, now where I get all the information from is I first go in and look at Dataroma for the list of super investors. Most of the ones that I like are on this list. And then I cross-reference that with in TIKR Terminal with their, because in TIKR Terminal they have their international holdings as well. So I think that's a better place to look rather than on Dataroma, which just has their US holding. So for example, we're going to look at Li Lu at Himalaya Capital. So I go over to TIKR and I find Himalaya Capital. And we look at what Li Lu was up to. And he has added to his stake in Alphabet, in Google. So that's a pretty big increase, actually. That's double and a half of the shares in Google. There's Google A and Google C. This is the A class shares. So yeah, just added more to Google. That's interesting. Google is obviously an amazing company, and it's something that has been getting cheaper and cheaper with the markets. So I guess that whole chat GPT thing maybe scared some people off a little bit. I haven't been keeping up to date with it, so I'm not really sure, but Li Lu has been investing into it, which is a good sign. He's a smart guy, and Google's a beast of a company. So anyone out there who's looking into Google or thinking about Google, there's a good indication that it might be a relatively good price. So now I quickly have a look at Norbert Liu at Punch Card Management, and there is an interesting new purchase here in Countryside Partnerships Limited. I actually don't know much about Countryside Partnerships Limited. If I right click here in TIKR Terminal, it opens up a new tab for me, and I'm going to then have a quick look at what is even going on here. Okay, so Countryside Properties, it looks like it's based out of Great Britain. That's the pound, so it's been getting punished. It's down 50% this year. And we've got about a £1 billion market cap. Countryside Properties PLC operates as a home builder and urban regeneration partner in the UK. Okay, so they're a home builder out of the UK. Probably a cyclical nature here, but be interesting because Norbert Liu famously wrote NVR up in Value Investors Club and got picked up by Joel Greenblatt to start the fund. NVR being, I think it was a 100-bagger. It was an exceptional investment. So he will understand residential property development, and this is another home builder. So this one is very interesting for those out there who are familiar with NVR and Norbert Liu. Who knows? Maybe this is something in the same NVR category. That's pretty exciting. This is something that I might even start digging into a little bit here. So a good one here for us to take note of. Now, it wouldn't be a super investors video without looking at Berkshire Hathaway and what Warren Buffett's been doing. There has been not a lot of action going on here. We have to scroll quite a fair way down before we see anything of significance. Maybe a little bit of a sell of Bank of New York Mellon Corp. Okay, I'm going to say there's nothing new here. So Berkshire Hathaway, nothing much to see. Let's move on. Okay, the next super investor, we're going to look at Mohnish Pabrai, and we've got, I think the most significant note here is Brookfield Corp and Brookfield Asset Management being very related to each other. That's a new purchase with Brookfield Asset Management. I think it's not going to be the only time we see Brookfield Asset Management on a list today. So Mohnish Pabrai has decided this is a place to park some money, whether it's going to be a massive compounder. I'm pretty sure he has some videos out where he explains his thesis. I'll try to find that for you soon. But Brookfield Asset Management, there's an idea for us all too. All right, next up we have Michael Burry at Scion Asset Management. Now, Michael Burry is always an interesting read every time we see one of these. So we've got some interesting new developments here, as always. So sell a half of the Geo Group, which is the private prison. Half of that's being sold out. We've got Black Knight being quite a significant new purchase. Black Knight, what is that? Provides integrated software, data, and analytics solutions in the United States. No idea exactly what world they're in. It looks like they might be in mortgages and home equity software, something around the housing market or something. Not sure. I'd have to do some digging, but Michael Burry has made a pretty big stake into this one. Another company that he has invested in just recently. Oh, we've got Alibaba and JD. We'll do Alibaba and JD first. So we're obviously very familiar with those. I have an investment in Alibaba myself. Michael Burry's obviously think there's some value there. So that's nice to see because I am also an investor in that one. Wolverine Worldwide. What is that? I think it's a clothing line, isn't it? Designs, manufactures, sources, markets, license, and distributes footwear, apparel, and accessories in the United States. I'm not familiar with the Wolverine brand, really. Maybe I've seen it before. Michael Burry has some random investments sometimes. It's hard to work out what the hell he sees in some of these, but he obviously sees value in everything. So everything that he's invested in, there's something there. So dig away, there's something for us if we really wanted to. MGM Resorts is a new position he's opened up, and that's something that I am quite familiar with because I really like to follow IAC with Joey Levin over there, the CEO managing that business. It's an amazing company, and they have about a 10, maybe 15% stake in MGM Resorts. They're the largest shareholder in MGM Resorts. So Michael Burry has seen some value there as well, which is interesting. So yeah, lots of ideas from Michael Burry every time, and no different this time. Now, I always like to check Dennis Hong at SureSpring Partners. I think Dennis is a very good investor, and this is the AIC investment that he has 25% of their portfolio tied up in IAC. Great business, like I've just said, and now Michael Burry has a piece of MGM Resort, which is owned by IAC, so there's a bit of a mixture going on there. SureSpring Partners looks like they have just moved a little bit of money between the same investments. There's nothing new here. So next we'll go have a look at Thomas Gaynor at Markel. Markel, I have an investment in with them, so it's nice to see what their share portfolio is up to, so I get a bit of an insight into that. This is definitely more of an indexed approach from Tom Gaynor. He has beat the index pretty consistently over a long period of time, over 30 years, but only by 1% or 2%. So, which adds up it compounds really nicely over a long period of time, which is exactly what's happening. So, I just thought it'd be interesting to see his new buy, which is Brookfield Asset Management, which is the same as Mohnish Pabrai. So it's come up twice now, and yeah, there's something going on here at Brookfield Asset Management for two super investors to buy in the same quarter, something for us to look out for. I'm over at RV Capital Investments. This is Rob Vinall. Looks like no change here to his portfolio, so that's fine. I'll check inside of Data Roma as well. And yep, okay, it's the same. I do know Rob Vinall has other investments in other companies in other countries, but it looks like he doesn't need to disclose those. I'm very confident he has a Process investment, and I'm very sure he has a Process investment. I'm pretty sure he still has Alibaba. There's a handful of businesses that he's not showing here, but I know that he's invested in. So that might take reading his letters to investors instead. Last person we'll probably look at today is Guy Spear, who has made recent activity. As normal, he's sitting on his hands, and that is very impressive. And I really like to see Guy Spear's portfolio, because he does, for a long time now, has done very little, and that interests me a lot because that's something that I'm trying to work towards myself, is to do less and less. And Guy Spear is someone I look up to for that. So there we have it. We've gone through the super investors that I think are of note. Brookfield Asset Management, I think, has come up twice now. I actually think it might have come up a third time. I can't remember who else bought into it, but someone else I've seen in the super investors has bought into Brookfield Asset Management as well this quarter. So that's an interesting one. I think Norbert Lu's investment in Countryside Properties PLC in Great Britain, the home builder, I think that's very interesting considering what we know about Norbert Lu and NVR. I think Michael Burry's investments were interesting as well, but that always seems more difficult than beyond me anyway. Generally speaking, for Michael Burry's, I just find it fascinating. So yeah, we have some new ideas, which is great to see. A lot of investors have done very little as well, which is also, I think, really good to see. So I hope you've enjoyed that one. I hope you enjoyed going through this with me and getting some ideas here. And yeah, it's a really good thing, a little activity that we do every 3 months here on this channel, and it's something that I will continue to do. So hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.